So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to present to you a live table reading, unrehearsed, of the Season 1, Number 10 episode of Cabin Fever, ladies and gentlemen. Cabin Fever. Are you ready?
I don't know. Are we ready?
Carlos, when was the last time we read this script?
1947.
Oh, boy.
Well, that really was my question.
Thanks
When did we do this? What century?
When I had 2 healthy kidneys.
When I had brown hair and eyelids.
You don't have 2 kidneys, do you? I think I only have 1.
You still have eyelids, Charlie. Come on.
I can't find them.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we take you now to Season 1, Rocko's Modern Life, Cabin Fever. We open on a traffic jam on a highway. Come on! Leading up to the mountains, cars honking. Mr. and Mrs. Bighead are driving in their car.
Oh, Ed, this mountain cabin sounds so romantic. Oh, just you and me, Bev, just you and me.
Dissolve to Rocko and Hef in their car.
Just you and me, Hef.
Both cars are headed up the same mountain road in the middle of winter.
Wow, an entire weekend in a mountain cabin. Hot chocolate, popcorn, hot buttered pancakes.
Oh, yes, Bev, cool, clean air, and no idiot neighbors.
Waffles, sizzling sausage, and
Grapefruit! Both cars simultaneously arrive at the top of the mountain cabin, but they can't see each other.
barbecue, hamburgers and pickles, onions, lettuce.
Rocko goes to open the door.
Hot dogs, corn on the cob.
Ed opens the door on the other side. Ed and Bev see Rocko and Hef.
What are you doing here in my cabin?
But we rented it for the weekend.
Oh, that's impossible. I rented this cabin. It says right here, 1 weekend, Bighead's July 4th.
Ed shows him a contract.
But Mr. Bighead, it's January.
One more.
Oh, Ed.
It's okay. Hef and I don't mind sharing the cabin with you for the weekend. We can all have a good time. Come on, Hef.
Hef and Rocko go outside. Beverly follows.
Come on, Ed!
Outside, Hef, Rocko, and Bev are having a snowball fight. Ed is at the window, jealous.
Oh, it's okay, Mr. Bighead. We'll share it with you two morons.
Bev is making snow angels.
Ed, come play with me!
Just then, a snowplow buries her in the snow.
Oh, if I could just figure out some way to...
Cut to Rocko and Heffer building a snowman.
Here we go. You take this one, roll it this way. Oh, this is good. This is fun.
Hey, Rocko, where's Mr. Bighead? I thought he was gonna help us.
Oh, he's making a head.
Reveal, Ed is rolling a humongous boulder-sized snowball to a peak directly over Rocko and Heffer.
They want a head? I'll give him a head!
He pushes the snowball over the peak. The snowball rolls past Rocko and Heffer, hits another mountain like a skateboard ramp, and falls directly on top of Ed. Ed is buried by the giant snow boulder. A small piece breaks off and rolls down to Heffer and Rocko. It's the perfect size for their snowman.
Oh, thanks, Mr. Bighead.
Yeah, thanks.
Mr. Bighead pops his head out of the snowman's body. We cut to the next scene where Beverly is sitting anxiously awaiting in the hot tub.
Ed, come in, darling. The water's fine. 1 minute, my little pollywog.
Just then, Ed gets pelted by a snowball. Hef and Rocko are laughing behind a snowdrift.
Yeah, we got him right in the face. In your face. Good shot, Hef.
Ed jumps in a bunker and pulls out a Gatlin snowball gun to try and pelt Heffer and Rocko. He ends up pelting a giant purple bear. The bear becomes angry, steals Ed's glasses, and punches out his teeth. Cut to exterior small cabin at night. Later that same night, we go inside and hear Rocko and Heffer trying to guess what shadow puppets are on the wall.
I got it.
Ooh, that's a great one, Mrs. Bighead.
Ooh, I got one.
Okay.
Heifer walks over to make a puppet. He makes a shadow puppet scene of the bear eating Ed head first.
Here's Mr. Bighead, and here's the bear, and then roar, 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 roar.
That's just what happened.
Cut.
Oh, Ed, darling, this is so much fun. I think I skipped a cue.
Ed, we cut to Ed sulking at a nearby table.
Oh, Ed, darling, this is so much fun. Come on over and show what you can do.
Rocko, Bev, and Heffer beg Mr. Bighead to come over.
Come on over, Mr. Bighead.
Come
Come
on,
on, do it. Come
honey.
on.
Oh, well, okay.
Ed reluctantly goes over. His first shadow puppet is a perfect depiction of Rodin's The Thinker. Bev, Rocko, and Heffer are completely stumped and throw out wild, incorrect guesses.
50 Cent
It's
Grey.
rubbish. A
50
piece of
Cent
garbage.
Grey.
You know, it's
Dinosaur.
the Matterhorn.
It's one. It's a waffle iron.
This-
You can also use it to make pancakes out of.
Ed gets frustrated and makes another one, a buck gracefully prancing in slow motion.
Come on, you can get it.
I give up. Oh, I don't give up. A radiator. It's either a hose or a radiator hose.
Mr. Bighead is visibly upset.
I win.
Ed snaps.
Ah, come on, Bev. Get your things. Oh, Ed, give it a rest. You're so temperamental.
But too late. Ed is already at the door with 2 suitcases ready to leave.
How can I rest? How can I rest when I have to spend my weekend with those 2 pinheads? Pinheads!
Pinheads! There's a bad, loud echo. It echoes. It starts an avalanche. It buries and freezes Ed right at the front door. The cabin is now buried under several feet of snow. Cut to Ed at the telephone.
Hello? I think the phone's are dead. We're trapped!
Cut to Rocko and Heffer and Bev on the couch in front of the TV. Ed is panicked, while the 3 of them are watching calmly and sharing a bag of pasture puffs.
Oh, these are delicious.
We see a TV reporter on the screen.
We interrupt this program to bring this Old Town Action News special report.
What is that? What is that?
Folks, I am standing near the avalanche site where it is believed that 2 toads, a steer, and a wallaby
That's us! That's us!
are trapped somewhere beneath the slide. A search party is combing the area for signs of their whereabouts.
We're here! We're here! We're here! We're here!
It doesn't look good, folks. They'll probably starve.
Cut to another program where we hear an announcer say, "And now it's time to cook with Chef Master." Ed is losing it.
Oh, calm down, Edward.
No need to panic. We should just relax and wait for them to rescue us.
Cut to Rocko and Hef and Bev playing poker. Bev is dealing.
All right, boys. 7-card stud. Jack's the better to open. Deuces the wild. And the bet's 5 skins.
Meanwhile, in the background, Ed rips the phone out and brings it over to a makeshift radio comprised of the microwave with an antenna and 2 spatulas.
Ed! Come on, Eddie. Play some poker!
Ed shoves the phone in the microwave and tries to communicate with the outside world. Cut back over to the poker table.
Read 'em and weep, boys. Ooh. Hello? Anybody read? Hello? Mayday! Ed, Bighead here. Do you read?
Suddenly, Ed gets reception from a fast food guy. Can I help you, sir?
Yes! All right, listen carefully. This is Ed Bighead. I'm trapped in a cabin with my wife and 2 guys. Do you read?
Right, okay. You want 2 large burger and 2 fries?
No! The Bighead's 2 guys!
Oh, okay. Yeah, big burger and 2 large fries. I got it. That'll be $5.99 at the next window. Thank you. Sorry, something's feeding back here. Sorry. That's worse. Oh,
That was way better.
now pointed away from the microphone. My years of stand-up comedy. Ed starts twisting dials until the machine smokes and explodes in his face. He is pulverized. Cut to the poker table. Rocko and Hef are half naked. Their clothes are lying on the table. Ed walks by with a pickaxe and is headed out the front door.
Oh, you sit around and play games. I'm gonna get out of this place if it means digging out with my bare hands.
Ed goes out and shuts the front door. Back to the poker table. Bev is not worried.
Ed is a big boy. He can take care of himself. Ante up, fellas.
Meanwhile, later on, cut to a fireplace at night. Heffer is telling a ghost story to a terrified Rocko and Bev.
Oh, please, not so scary.
No.
And there, next to a mangled corpse, you can never say that on Nickelodeon in 2015.
You can't do that.
That's why 90s Nicktoons were better.
Woo! 90s Nicktoons! Bring it back!
Because the inmates were running the asylum.
Yeah, I'm a cool.
And there, next to a mangled corpse of the unfortunate camper, were the bloody footprints of the abdominal snow monkey.
No.
And then what happened?
I mustn't tell the rest. It's far too scary.
Oh, please tell us more. Tell us. Tell us.
Well, 10 years later, in this very same valley, there was a horrible blizzard. 3 campers were trapped in a cabin, just like this one.
Why, Mother?
Outside, in the dead of night, a dark shadow crept over the snowfields towards the little cabin and came closer and closer and closer and closer. Ah!
All of a sudden, Heffer hears a noise.
What was that? What was that? What was that? There's something behind the door.
Cut to scratching at the front door.
There's something behind the door. There's something behind the door.
All 3 go to the door. Hef is holding a frying pan. Bev has a bat, and Rocco's armed with a rolling pin. Hef slowly turns the knob and opens the door to reveal a frozen Ed with huge bloodshot eyes. Psycho Sting music underneath.
The abdominal snow monkey.
A frozen Ed falls face down on the cabin floor. All 3 begin pelting him with their weapons.
Hit him harder!
He's starting to get up.
Cut back to the interior cabin. Ed looking up at 3 faces of Bev, Heffer, and Rocco. Ed is on the couch, mangled.
Gee, he doesn't look too good.
Oh, Eddie.
Speak to me. Oh,
Speak
Mr.
to me.
Bighead, are you all right?
Now Ed starts hallucinating and sees the faces of 3 disfigured demons holding pitchforks. And in a demonic speak, Bev, Rocco, and Hef say,
Are you okay, No!
cut inside Ed's throat as he is screaming. His hanging epiglottis become Heffer's head.
Are you okay, Mr. Bighead?
Well, I don't know.
Mr. Bighead? Mr. Bighead?
It's getting late. It's getting late. I must be going now. Going.
Boom, crash, bang. Ed is now dragging the stove.
Yep, I'm out of here. It's all clear to me now. It's all clear. I get it.
Now he's dragging the fridge on his back.
You can't keep me here forever. Yes, sirree. Ed Bighead sees through your little scheme. Oh, Ed, I don't think this is such a good idea.
Cut to reveal that Ed has constructed a giant stack of appliances and is turning on the oven gas.
Another thing you couldn't do on Nickelodeon in
Nope.
2015.
Ed!
Ed climbs to the top of the giant stack.
They cannot keep me here. Free from your clutches at last.
As Ed laughs madly, he strikes a match and gets blown through the atmosphere. High above the earth, where we see the snowy mountains, farmland, and downtown O-Town, hurtling above the earth on a giant smoke stream, laughing.
I'm free!
Cut back to the snow cabin. A crane is lifting something out of a snow-covered hole. As the crowd looks on, a worker describes the scene.
Easy now. Easy. Keep it slow. Come on now. It's a begging. Slowly.
Cut to reveal the crane has Heffer. The crowd cheers.
Hey, Heffer made it!
Cut to Bev with the reporter on the TV screen.
Here we are with avalanche survivor Beverly Bighead.
Oh, hello, Audrey, Nancy, Maud, Evelyn.
Yeah. So, Mrs. Bighead, what happened to the 4th member of your party?
Cut to Ed on a deserted tropical island next to his smoking stack of appliances as 2 scraggly-looking pelicans are playing charades.
It's a movie. Oh, I know. Lord of the Flies. A Herald in the Purple Crayon. Oh, this is too hard.
We iris out as Ed stares dejectedly into the horizon, crying. The end, ladies and gentlemen. Cabin Fever, Charlie Adler, Tom Kinney.
Carlos Alazraqui!
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
No, I thought... Do you have the radio mic?
The radio mic.
Why did you guys grab the movie quotes?
Okay.
So before we do some questions and answers, I thought we might have some fun with either some more Rocko voices like Bloaty and Squirmy or Leon or I'm a Wild Pig or any of the other voices you think Tom and Charlie can do or I do. We will read you some famous movie quotes. So let's go ahead. Raise your hand. So let me come over here first, and hopefully this doesn't feedback. We're going to do a movie quote. Who would you like to read first?
Tom Kenny as Starscream.
Tom Kenny as Starscream, is that right?
Starscream? Okay.
All right, Starscream, and pick out a movie quote.
Yes.
Take your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape!
Ladies and gentlemen, let's see. How about you? Go ahead, just yell it out.
Tom Kenny as Patchy the Pirate.
Tom Kenny as Patchy the Pirate. Read one out.
Patchy the Pirate. Okay. Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
Luckiest man. Who's got one for
That was from the Lou Gehrig story. I got ALS.
How about one for Charlie Adler? We have
I'm
one for-
taking the ice bucket challenge.
Which one? Red guy. We want red guy, Charlie.
What?
Red guy.
Red guy. Pick a movie quote.
One morning, I shot an elephant in my pajamas.
How did I get my pajamas?
I don't know.
Yeah. All right. How about
red
one?
guy.
Go ahead.
Mr. Bunny?
Buster Bunny. Pick one out.
Buster.
Mama always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get, Toots.
That's pretty good. One more second. I'll come over here. How you? Good to see you.
Tom Kenny as SpongeBob.
Tom Kenny as SpongeBob.
Okay. This is Father Magruder from the movie Brain Dead.
I kick ass for the Lord.
All right.
Bob!
So,
It was there! What was I
I'm going to
supposed-
put my own one in there since nobody's called on me. I'm going to do Rocko as Jason Miller in The Exorcist.
Oh, yeah.
You're not my mother. You're not my mother.
There you go. How you doing?
How about Charlie Adler do Ickis from?
Oh, well, hold on a second because I had one I really, really want. Oh, here it is, for crying out loud.
Oh, Toto, I got a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
Nice. I'll go back to you.
Gary the Snail.
Gary the Snail.
Okay.
Read it first and then translate it.
All right. This is Gary the Snail doing the Rhett Butler line. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Yes. I'll get to you.
Ricky the Rocket Ship doing Pulp Fiction.
Wow. Ricky the Rocket Ship from Trip Tank.
Yeah.
Wow. That is a pretty adult cartoon. Oh.
And he's in lederhosen.
Yeah. He's follower hosen. Yeah. Ricky the Rocket Ship. Wow. You can't handle the truth.
Nice.
A Star Wars quote in Spyro's voice.
Give me that one too. I'll do Spyro 1 and you do Spyro 2. I was the voice of the first Spyro and Tom was the voice of the second Spyro. So get the quote and I'll go first.
That's right.
What's the quote? You got a Star Wars quote?
Your father wanted you to have this when you were old enough.
All right. Your father wanted you to have this when you were old enough.
Over here with the ears. I feel like Bob Barker. Do you have a? Go ahead. Just shout it out.
Can I do a quote in Morty's voice from Rick and Morty?
Morty's voice from Rick and Morty. Yeah.
I don't do that.
You don't do that?
No.
Just only ones we do, please. God.
I'm the creepy jelly bean.
How about over there? Shout it out. Mr. Crocker. What? Pick out a quote for Mr. Crocker.
Crocker.
Just read it to me.
Oh, let's see. Oh gosh. Let's see. Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
Snakes! Why did they have to be snakes? Mother fairies! All right, I think it was over here. Excuse me. All right, shout it out.
Let me get some Ice King. I need some ice.
He needs some Ice King.
Okay, a little bit of deliverance. I bet you can squeal like a pig.
Wow, not suitable for children.
Right.
Excuse me.
That's right there.
I'm sorry. Sorry about
Wow.
that. What do you got?
Anything sounds creepy when the Ice King says it.
Spider-Man? Let me see. Let me go over here. Our twins over here. Which one do you want to hear? Winslow quoting Goodfellas.
Hey, you. Why don't you go get your shine box? There you go.
Tom was dog on Cat Dog as well.
I was dog on that show, but Winslow was the creepiest.
Yeah, hey, cat dog. Too bad you can't go outside.
Little blue guy.
We got one for Charlie?
Hey, cat dog.
We'll get one.
Somebody, people in the front got some Charlie-isms.
The hippo from Rocko's Modern Life.
Do you remember the hippo?
I don't, but I'm going to take a whack at it.
Mrs. Robinson, who tried to seduce me, aren't you? Is that close?
Nice. Let me see. Let's go way back here. We'll do about 5 more of these.
I had a stroke.
Can you possibly do the phone scene of Rocko and Mrs. Bighead?
Oh, we would like to recreate the phone scene with Rocko and Mrs. Bighead. This was when Rocko had various jobs, and unbeknownst to Rocko, he thought he was a regular telephone marketer, and behind him there's the rules that said, what did the rules say? Like, be sexy? What did they say? Be sexy, be discreet, be something else. So this is Rocko calling Bev Bighead mistakenly on the sex line.
Let's see. All right. What do I do? Okay, here we go. The phone's ringing. All right. Oh, baby, oh, baby, oh, baby.
Who is this speaking?
Is this Mrs. Bighead?
Yes, it is.
Oh, this is a little creepy. I have to hang up now. I love you. Bye.
Rocko?
I'm going to pick her because go ahead.
I want the Taco Bell Chihuahua.
Okay. Taco Bell Chihuahua? You got a quote for me up there?
Yeah, I got one for you. Streetcar named Desire. Stella, hey Stella.
Stella, psst. Hey, Stella. I have your gorditas.
I think
right,
that would
right
be
over here. I see this
that
gentleman.
would be Estella.
Estela.
Go ahead, shout it out. Cow from Cow and Chicken, Charlie.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
We're running out of quotes. Hold on.
Oh, snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
Twice with the snakes. Chicken. We want chicken. Pick another one.
It's from A Wonderful Life.
A toast to my big brother George, the richest man in town.
What's the matter? How about a hand for movie quotes, ladies and gentlemen? Movie quotes. We're just going to open it up for regular Q&A. It's awesome if you can keep it to Rocko's Modern Life because we'd like to tell you about the history, but obviously you can ask these guys about anything, but we'd love to tell you as much as we know about Rocko, but if it goes somewhere else, we'll just deal with that, and that's fine. And why don't you come up here, line up, queue up this way, right down the center, or I think that's the best way, and we'll answer your questions. Welcome back.
Your dreams were your ticket out.
Good afternoon. My name's Dane.
Hey, man.
Since Rocko, how often do you three get to work together?
It's been rare. I've been working with Charlie on something called Wabbit. He's an incredible director. I want to say, first of all, if anybody's ever thinking about entering the world of voiceover and animation and coming to LA to get your first start and work on your first cartoon, don't work for Charlie. He will. No, he will. He's a very intimidating man, but he's one of the best directors in animation right now, and it's a pleasure working with him. So I get to work with him.
Okay, why am I intimidating? Wait, why am I intimidating?
I don't know, Mr. Bighead.
But
Actually, Charlie's very actor friendly.
That's what I was going to say.
Because he's been in the trenches. You know, you're actor friendly.
I am.
Why don't you give me an example of an actor that's just not getting the line right? What would you come in and say at that point? I love you, Mr. Big. I'm sorry, Charlie. I love you, Mr. Bighead. What would you say?
Why don't you do the line like you want the pilot to sell?
That's how. But I get to see Tom every once in a while.
Yeah, once in a blue moon we'll work on something.
We'll work on something together.
You know, it's a pretty small, like, inbred group of hillbilly voice actors. You know, you kind of run into the family at the occasionally, and you get to lay with them for a little while, and then then you don't see them for a while.
But even though we maybe not work, we drink heavily together.
Absolutely,
yes.
cocktails.
Which is a very good. It's a plus.
Very good plus. Thank you very much. Next question.
Hi, my name's Kenny.
Hi, Kenny. Good to see you.
Kenny, how you doing?
Good.
Oh my God, they didn't kill Kenny. The best time to wear a striped T-shirt is all the time.
Since you guys started doing voice acting on Rocko, how do you think you've evolved since then?
Rocko was very informative for me. I was Charlie introduced me to what like a mega maniacal, super talented voiceover guy could be, going from character to character. So that was the beginning of my evolution, and I still regard Rocko as one of the finest jobs I've ever had, just because of the quality of the cartoon, the writing, and the family that we had. But it's obviously led to other things for me, Mr. Crocker, and even in some way going on camera with Reno 911. So it was a very great base for me for being introduced to LA.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny. Carlos and I have the same story about Charlie. Like it was Carlos's first job in cartoons, and my first job in cartoons, largely because Carlos recommended me to Joe Murray, so I have him to.
Do you think I deserve 10% of Tom Kenny's career by applause? All right, thank you.
I'll give you 20.
Your Honor.
But to walk into the room, and we were kind of rank green, like newbies, and then you see Charlie doing a three-way conversation, pages flying around like Carlos said, and I just went, oh my gosh, man, I got to get way better really fast, because it's like, you know, like my inexperience is going to be glaring here. You know, it's like kind of somebody that can type like 150 words a minute, and then they go, okay, Tom, you can come.
But you know, this is very
That's what I
flattering.
felt like. That's what I
This is very
felt like.
flattering, but what I feel reverses my psychosis was very glaring. You thought your greenness was. I just thought, oh my God, they're going to put me away.
You're still staying out of the padded cell. We're doing all right. But it was a great show, the quality of the writing, and most of those people that were instrumental in Rocko's Modern Life.
Steve Hillenburg, Derek Dryman.
Yep. Nick Jennings, you know, who now works on
Mark O'Hare.
Mark O'Hare.
Linda Martin Wallum.
People that
Linda
went on to
Wallum.
Adventure Time. and
Linda
Powerpuff
Wallum
Girls.
produces Nurse Jackie.
Linda
She writes
Wallum.
and produces Nurse Jackie.
Yeah.
She was, who was she on this?
She was late Mrs. Wolf.
That was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also Dan Povenmire and Swampy Marsh, who created Phineas and Ferb. But thank you, Kenny. Thanks for the question. Thank you.
Kenny,
Next
are you
question.
still here?
It was one of those petri dish shows where like everybody went on to other stuff from there, but we all kind of got created in the Rocko test tube.
Yep. Great.
Hi guys, my name is Edwin.
Hello.
Actually, a quick question of pretty much for all three of you. What was your favorite episode to voice? As in, like, there was just some lines there that really got you like laughing and like.
Of Rocko?
I know mine.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, there was a lot of, it was a really fun show. We were, it was very silly, and most voiceover gigs are like that. There's a lot of laughing. It's not, it's a fun job to have. But there's one that has finally been restored to DVD where Heffer hooks himself up to a milking machine for self-pleasure. And then he just kind of makes an O face and then like slides off screen. Nickelodeon saw that and freaked out. They freaked out. And then suddenly, the next time I saw the episode, that scene was just like snip, snip, like it wasn't in there anymore. They did a milking machine ectomy on that clip. And
Thank God for YouTube.
And now it's back. So like I said, it seems like you could get away with a little more then, because it was they weren't paying as much attention. Now they pay a little more attention.
My favorite was when Beverly, because she didn't have a nose, she couldn't smell. She got a nose transplant. And she just was in heaven smelling everything. And she was really very attractive with a nose.
Yeah.
I love, is that it? I love Doug Lawrence's line in Wacky Deli. Doug couldn't make it with us. He's busy working on a cartoon, but I am the cheese. I am the best part of the film. I am the cheese. But my favorite Rocko line ever is when Rocko is going through toys in the garage and he discovers a toy called Mr. Onion Head, which I gave the voice of Nick Nolte.
And Rocco's going, what's this? And he goes,
Don't you remember me, Rocko? I'm Mr. Onion Head, your favorite childhood toy.
and Rocco says, I love you, Mr. Onion Head.
That's my favorite line. So thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Mike.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, Mike, it's
Hey,
the
Mike.
Lederhosen guy again. That's Over the Garden Wall, baby. That's some Over the Garden Wall cosplay, right?
Yes, sir.
See, I know this
Look
stuff.
how well he's taking us.
Did you say cosplay? Not that cosplay. Okay.
I was wondering, would you guys ever consider doing a reunion season, like on Netflix, to keep the filter like to the minimum, so it could be like the '90s again?
From your mouth to God's
God's
ears.
ears.
Absolutely. And, you know, judging by how many people are still fans just here in
Yeah.
Florida, it's been suggested several times, and I don't know if Joe would go back and do it again. It's a hard
Joe
process.
Murray, a lot of these guys that create these shows, like, they're really eccentric, sweet, brilliant, genius people, but they're very mercurial, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think Joe Murray has any desire to go back. And Hillenburg is like that too, and Pendleton Ward from Adventure Time is like that too. Like, they're very different people. I think that's why their shows are what they are, is that they're very special people. And commercialism and like keeping the franchise alive does not drive them whatsoever. whereas we are complete whores. But it's a
A job, I'll do it.
Oh baby, oh baby, oh baby.
You know, I think the show defined Joe Murray. He once told me about a story about Joe. I go, Joe, I think Rocco's like you. And he goes, he told me a story about he used to sell Christmas trees door to door. And he wouldn't sell the trees, he'd sell a coupon for a lot that when he went to go check it out were the worst trees around.
But he was so like Rocko. You go, hello, I'm selling Christmas trees. I don't actually have the tree, but I have a coupon, and you can go to the lot and pick it up.
And I go, Joe, that is so Rocko. So that show was him, and that's why the whole corporate brass and cranking out 40 episodes was so antithetical to who these creators are.
Absolutely. All those guys I mentioned, and, Craig McCracken and Gendy, Tartakovsky, and those people, they kind of come in under that, too. Like
It's art versus commerce.
It's
They're
art
real artists.
and finding that intersection, because obviously everybody wants to be employed in your chosen profession, and you want to make stuff that matters to you, and obviously you don't own the network, these other people do, so you sort of got to play ball with them, but the results vary of like who is better at playing that political game, and I think Joe would probably agree with us that he was probably the worst.
Yes, he did not like it. He wanted out fast. But thank you for your question.
Yeah, and Joe kind of liked fighting.
Yeah, he enjoyed it.
Joe would get into it. He loved eviscerating suits.
Yep.
So he would like get into it with them.
I think he and I are very akin.
That's why he hired you.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your question.
All right, thank you for
Thanks,
voicing
man.
a lot of our childhoods.
Thank you. You're welcome. Come on up. Howdy.
Hi guys, my name is Robert.
Hi, Robert.
Hey, Robert.
First of all, I wanted to thank you guys so much for everything.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for thanking us for everything.
Thank you for thanking him.
Thank you for thanking him. For
You're
thanking
welcome.
him.
Obviously, the 90s Nicktoons were, there was something special in the water or what you guys were drinking, but...
Never at work.
Speaking of that, the best advice I ever got was from Richard Simmons when my voice is dry, the great iconic exercise guru. I said, Richard, my throat is dry. He's like, keep it moist. I think I'll go get my own bottle of water. Thank you.
Keep it moist.
Keep it moist.
But thank you. So,
the 90s Nicktoons, they were obviously very special, and I feel like there was a period of time where cartoons kind of lost a little bit of magic.
Yep.
And now we're entering like this new era,
Mhm.
kind of, where I'm noticing there's a lot of shows coming
Agreed.
out that are really great.
More soul. There's soul. Yeah, I think you're right.
I think because the advent of internet stuff has
Mm-hmm.
really opened the doors for some really great creative people that are not, again, driven by product
Yep.
and corporate. And by the way, the people that I work with now on internet series are so, it's like going back 30 years. They're joyful, they're innocent, they want to play. It matters to them. The actual job, the work, the product matters to them, not the profit. So
Their
I think
dreams
with the
haven't been
advent of
crushed
that,
yet.
Say what?
Their dreams have not yet been crushed.
No, and by the way, 10 years from now,
No, you know what I think it is? I think it's that the guys who are creating shows now are literally of an age where those 90s Nicktoons you're talking about
They were
are what
influenced by
warped their brain in childhood.
Yeah.
what a great,
Really-
what a great concept.
They
I
really are, yeah,
wow, I
because
never thought of
the
that.
guys that were raised up on Rocko are the guys creating shows now, and I know from talking to them, like that stuff was, kind of blew their minds when they were kids. So there's a little bit of Joe Murray DNA
All over it, yeah.
in these people.
And they have a bar to reach for. They really have a bar to reach
yeah,
for.
it's
That's a great point.
so
that's my
cry.
theory. That's my crackpot
thank you.
theory.
Thank you
anyway.
for your question.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How you doing? I'm Chris.
Hey, Chris.
Hi.
Since you said you had a comedy background, I just want to say, was there a lot of improvisation while recording Rocko's Modern Life? Did you have to stick to the script too much, or?
Well, Tom is a guy that just spits gems out of his head. So diamonds just come out. Everything that he riffs is golden. So it was really hard to keep.
Not just
all
out of my
his-
head.
Yeah. All of his stuff got injected a lot. Rocko was so straight that
I pretty much stuck to the script.
the only thing I would riff would be.
Oh my.
Well, it's
And
funny,
Charlie
like-
was a nut as well. So there was so much volume coming out of their mouths that eventually it would all seep into the script.
But there was a lot of improv and suggestions and stuff.
Yeah.
But it is true when you're playing the character that's the focus.
Eye of the hurricane.
The Eye of the Hurricane,
The
which
straight
I guess
man.
would be like Seinfeld.
Mary Tyler Moore.
Yeah, Mary Tyler Moore is Seinfeld.
Center of the storm.
To some degree,
I'm gonna
SpongeBob.
make it after all. Da, 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 da. Who are these people?
you know. But being the straight man on a show is really hard too. Like that's like a whole different skill set. Like being Bud Abbott is not as easy as it looks, you know. So it's like, you know, you kind of one of the good things about working all these different kinds of shows is that you do over time amass a skill set of different things you can do that you couldn't do when you walked into the booth for the first time and got scared by how great Charlie Adler was. So you know, it's a process that keeps going, but it's kind of what keeps us liking it is you keep finding out new stuff you can do and new places you can go, and you go, wow, that's cool. Like if guys that are 53 can still be finding like new stuff and new notes that you can hit and stuff like that. Like how many people get to do
I
that
haven't seen
in their jobs?
53 in the longest time.
Hey, just for fun, one of the ways we keep each other entertained is by mimicking each other's voices, just to see how well we could do it. Would you guys like to hear Charlie try to do Rocko?
Yes.
Would you like to hear it? Okay, I'll give you a line. Go, but Mrs. Bighead, Mr. Bighead isn't even home.
But Mr. Bighead, Mrs. Bighead isn't even home.
And I would do Heffer, I'd go, ooh, Rocko, let's go get some choky chicken. What a hoot!
They're not allowed to say choky chicken on television.
So there you go. That's part of the ways we keep each other entertained. But thank you. Thanks for your question.
Thanks.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Sam.
Hi, Sam.
Sam, I remember you.
Oh, I remember you.
Sam, I
Thank
remember you, darling.
I remember you, Sam.
One of my favorite characters of the show and the one that gave me the most nightmares was Peaches.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, Peaches. Yes, I remember him.
Can you please tell me like the inspiration behind that character?
Peaches, yeah, he was kind of like
Satan.
I guess he was a Satan-esque Beelzebubian figure on that
Beelzebubian.
show. Yeah, he was. Yeah,
Luciferian.
You know, again, you know. Not to keep harping on like stuff that we did on Rocko that you could never get away with now, but we all work on current Nickelodeon shows, and no way could you get away with like Heffer going to hell, and you couldn't get away.
double hockey sticks, we had to call it.
Yeah, and you couldn't get away with a fast food restaurant chain with that name.
Couldn't kill
Choky Chicken, forget it.
No.
And
We were just playing
they
Spank
would
the
look at it and
Monkey.
go, "Are you crazy?" No.
Remember the Spank the Monkey episode?
Oh yes.
They had paddles and a monkey spinning around.
We were just playing a game.
Yes.
What?
Yes. Hey, there was an episode on that DVD called Skid Marks. You know, they would never get away with that.
So
those were the days, baby.
That's what Peaches was born out of. That kind of thinking.
Peaches was born out of that thing. We're like, let's just have Rocko or Heffer go to hell. You know what I mean? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, Sam. Hi.
Hi.
I'm Karina. I have a question for Tom Kenny, although I do love you and Very Loud Parents.
Thank you.
I was just wondering what's your favorite episode of SpongeBob? Because it was like such a big part of my childhood.
SpongeBob was a big part of your childhood?
Oh my God, yeah. That's why I'm so corrupt now, but.
Oh, cool. Thanks. I got to say probably Band Geeks. I like that one because of the sweet. Because Sweet Victory is just like. Sweet Victory is a song that those guys just found in some music, like some composer like sent, you know, here's some samples of stuff. I'd like to do music for some of the Nickelodeon cartoons, and you know, I call this, you know, this is sample power ballad. You know, sample this, sample that, and it was Sweet, and they just listened to it and go, this is like the worst like Night Ranger kind of like rock and roll power ballad ever.
Sister Christian.
So they just called the guy and go, oh, can we use this song? We'll pay you something. So yeah, Sweet Victory is just so stupid. You know, I love it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
Hi.
Hey, man.
Step up to the wizard.
You guys are afraid of microphones.
Nope, not me. Hi, I'm Chris Turner. I'm a local filmmaker actor, and I just, like I told Carlos yesterday, you three are all a big inspiration and a big influence of my film and acting, and as well as a potential voice acting career, because I plan on doing some voice demos in the near future.
Cool.
As well as, it would be a great honor if I work with all of you guys one day in the near future. I'm currently working on my bachelor's degree at Miami-Dade College, and in film, of course. And I also, before I go back to my seat, can I do a quick intro for my show, Just Guys Playing Games?
Yeah, what do we do?
What I want you guys to do is to introduce yourselves one at a time.
Yes.
And then afterwards, all together, say, and you're watching Just Guys Playing Games. And then after that, You say you guys talk in your Rocko characters.
You are a director. Okay.
I know, look at that.
And you better get it right.
I'm confused.
I'll start. Just roll it.
What do you okay.
I'll say my name, and then, okay. Hi, I'm Carlos Alazraqui. Oh, Jesus.
Wait till I say action.
Places, last looks. Last looks. Hi, I'm Carlos Alazraqui. This is
Charlie Adler.
Hey, it's Tom Kenny, the voice of Heffer Wolf.
And you're watching Just Guys Playing Games.
Just Guys Playing Games.
Cut. That's it. That's all you get. Sit down. Go to your seat.
Thank you. Before the next question,
thank you.
You're watching. Where is my water?
I wanted
there
to
it is.
ask Charlie Adler. He's such a voiceover legend and is continuing to do voices. Charlie, what do you enjoy more, or are there certain challenges that you enjoy more about directing than voice acting, or what do you want to do most now these days between directing?
I love acting, and depending on what I'm directing, I love directing. But for me, to be useful, have purpose, to go to work, to use everything of myself, I don't really care which it is. So for me, just to be ambulatory is a thrill.
Well, I'll say that most voice actors, voice actors don't go, ugh, I can't wait till I can get out of this game. You know what I mean? When you do it, it's fun work. You're working with fun, creative people all the time. I mean, unless you're totally dumb, you realize that it's like the best job in show business, you know? So I think in terms of Charlie directing, I think, one of the things that an actor really is relieved to have in a director is, probably this is tough for you, Charlie, is that a lot of times you're the go-between between the creator of the show and the actors, and a lot of those creators are not the most articulate.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah. They spent their lives in their rooms drawing, So Charlie has to kind of be the show creator whisperer that figures out what the heck these people want and then convey it to the actors.
The liaison to the actor, yeah.
Well,
really
here's my
hard to do.
favorite direction I've ever received in my life. This is an example of just what. I was doing a commercial. I was playing a hot dog. Don't ask. And the director looked at me and said, Charlie, that doesn't sound like a hot dog. It sounds like a hamburger.
Tortured.
Well, that was one of those days where I went, I better learn to get that people are inarticulate and figure it. So what I figured out was, if I was playing a hot dog and I understood what I was doing as the hamburger, I probably sounded too meaty. And that a hot dog probably sounds more like a weenie.
Unless it's a kosher hot dog, then it sounds like this.
Sounds like that.
I was
Hebrew
that good.
Nationals, 99% fat-free.
Made from a higher source.
I plump when you cook me.
You're a ballpark.
How's it going, guys?
How's it
What
going?
is your favorite or most controversial bit that you've done from Rocko, aside from Heffer being milked?
There is the milk machine. I would have to say there was feedback on the phone libido hotline
Sorry,
episode.
I was making a sex phone call. A guy's got to work.
I think when Rocko was talking to his own puke, Earl, Spew, and Retch, and they're like, "Hi, Rocko, we're your puke," and he's like, "I'm sick, I'm sick, I'm sick." That was pretty weird.
Joe Murray, what the?
Joe Murray. He's
What
talking
the?
to his own vomit.
Yeah. And Bloody and Squirmy. We were playing.
And it's a children's show on Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
I love
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you.
Spyro.
Joe is the greatest.
He really is.
This is a question for you, Tom.
Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to know what was your experience with working with Insomniac Games and being the voice of Spyro in 3 different games, and how you feel like you changed the character a little bit. And I wanted to know if you could answer in his voice.
Oh, cool. Well, speaking of Spyro, you look great in purple, by the way.
And also, I would like to know if I could give you these gifts I have, if it's okay.
Sure. Absolutely. Thank you so much. I don't even know what these are.
Oh, look at that.
Because Carlos and I have both been
We've both been
Spyros.
Spyros, as we said earlier.
Oh,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much. SpongeBob and Spyro.
Spyro and Rocko.
Thank you.
Wow. Kari.
Thank you, Samantha.
Crazy
Thanks, Kari,
Kari.
says Samantha. I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
These will go in a place of honor. You know, Spyro was one of those things like, it comes back years and years later. Like, you know, when you do it, it's a gig. It took you an hour and a half or 2 hours in 1996 or something. And then you do it and you don't think that much about it. And then you got to wait for kids who were playing that game when it came out to grow up and come to these things. And then you're like, holy cow, I'm getting a lot of requests for Spyro. Like, Spyro awareness seems to be at like a high peak. Like, stuff kind of comes back. And that's a really fun aspect of these things. You go, wow, I didn't see that coming, you know?
Yeah.
And I've actually talked to Frodo about this, Elijah Wood. You know, because Carlos and I and him have all done Spyro the Dragon over the years. And he said in some ways, like, people want to talk to him more about Spyro than Frodo at conventions. Wow. You know, so yeah, Spyro has a really intense hold on people that were of a certain age when it came out, you know. So it's really nice to be able to work. I guess he's back in Skylanders, but you know.
I think I can speak for all of us that when we say that, we just appreciate that people do remember some of the characters that we did. Sometimes we're caught up in what we're doing now, and we have successes, we have failures when we audition, and we don't get things, and we feel like we've kind of lost touch. But we come here and we're reminded, like with Spyro and other characters, Buster Bunny, that you guys really appreciate it, and we appreciate hearing that.
Very much so. And
thank you.
sometimes the factor is just age.
Yes.
I don't remember breakfast.
Yeah. I got 2 kids. All I remember is Tangled and Frozen. Do you want to build a snowman? So thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for the drawings. Thank you. We've got time for a few more.
Can I hear Rocko sing "Let It Go"?
Let it go. Let it go. Sparky, let it go. Sorry,
That
Heffer.
perfect world is gone. Here I am.
Hey, Mr. Bighead, do you want to build a snowman? We have your head.
Let it go.
That perfect.
Hi.
Hi,
I'm Paul.
Hey, Ted, how you doing there?
Yeah, he's taking a break from promoting his new movie. Yeah. Anyway, to ask, what has been the craziest production day, either behind the scenes, either in the recording booth or live on camera with those types of projects, like for you, Carlos, with Reno 911, or for you, Tom Kenny, for Mr. Show, you know, this.
Craziest production day for me, really quick. Episode, season something of Reno 911. Dangle and Garcia go up to Tahoe to chase a criminal in the winter. Our car breaks down. We get stuck overnight. We wake up naked and spooning. And we both have like these patches over our... And I'm spooning Tom, and we're waiting for them to cut the roof open. And it's kind of getting kind of erotic and uncomfortable. And when we finished the scene, we had ran out, we finished the scene, and we had to peel off the patches over our and we had both forgotten to shave. So you could just hear us in the background going, ah, why? Ah, why? Craziest day for me.
The genitalia version of the 40-year-old virgin. Wow, that's like, wow, that's intense. Well, Mr. Show was always crazy because it was so low budget, you know what I mean? And they were always trying to get way too much done in a day. Plus, they were being really ambitious with prosthetics and all this stuff. So pretty much on Mr. Show, like every day was nuts. But I just remember one day where we were doing we were doing like a science film strip with wizards in it, you know, that was like we were filming it at some ranch, and we were filming it in a barn full of animals, and it was 120 degrees that day, and these animals were just pooping like all over the place. So it's like there's lights and it's hot.
Oh, you mean the background actors?
Yeah, the background actors. The cows were just like, you know, we were just like people. Odenkirk was like, Jesus Christ, you know. Odenkirk and Cross were getting really cranky, and I was in there. I had like this fake beard on that, like, you know, was like falling off. It was like, that was where you go. That voiceover started looking really good to me at that point. In fact, I think that was the day that I got the call that SpongeBob was going to series. Was that exact day where I was just like, God, on camera can really suck, you know? It's like, I hate being on camera. And then SpongeBob, so that's why I didn't do the 4th and final season of Mr. Show, was because, you know, voiceover was starting to heat up. But man, it was rough.
What about you, Charlie? Any crazy?
You know what? There are many things that I could say here, but I'd be arrested. And
you told me about the tassels.
Well, one of my first jobs is I stood backstage. I was 15 years old in a theater, and it was a show called This Was Burlesque, and there were all strippers. And there was a great transsexual stripper named Satan's Angel, who was really a doll. And I got to do it for you, though. This is. You can hear me, right? Okay. Theater. So this is Satan's Angel. 2 tassels, 2 tassels. This is me backstage. My job. A little champagne glass filled with kerosene. She dips. Boom, did-a-boom. In the kerosene dip. Boom, did-a-boom, did-a-boom. I switch from the kerosene. She comes on over, and I light them with a torch. The lights go out. Boom, did-a-boom, 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 did-a-boom. And she's spinning in different directions. It's a gift, believe me. Very underrated. But here's the most important part of the job. The bucket in which she gets to put them out. Now that was really crucial.
Takes them off first, or just douses them?
Boom did it, boom did it, boom did it, boom did it.
Charlie will be doing this production at his booth immediately following.
It's all about the boom
you.
did. Wow.
And feel free, if any of you want to try to imitate Ed, Bighead, or Bev, or Rocko, or Heffer, give it a shot if you feel
Charlie's like, I started out as a nipple lighter.
I was a nipple douser. Why pay 2
very
people when you can have it all in
underrated
one?
talent.
Go ahead. Hi, how are you?
Hi, my name's Austin. And
Hi, Austin. That's my daughter's name.
I actually have a little request for you. I'm one of those people that are really bad for birthday gifts.
Okay.
So, like, can you guys, like, she loves SpongeBob. And Rocko.
Yeah.
And Ed Bighead. So, can I get you guys to say, like, happy birthday, Shannon?
Sure.
Sure.
Get ready.
Shannon?
Ready?
When he says he's really bad with birthday gifts, that means he's cheap.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
No, because you're going to be paying us for this.
He's borrowing that phone.
$40 per person.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hey, Shannon, it's Tom Kenny, the voice of SpongeBob SquarePants. Bow, bow, and Gary.
And Heffer on Rocko's Modern Life. Happy birthday.
Hey, Shannon, it's Carlos Alazraqui, the voice of
Rocko on Rocko's Modern Life.
and Mr. Cocker. Fairies! Happy birthday, Shannon. Fairies!
Shannon, it's Charlie Adler wishing you a happy birthday from...
Oh, cow, happy birthday, Shannon.
And she can have the birthday, Shannon, and the red guy. Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Shannon!
Thank you. Hello, Doctor.
Hi, guys. I'm Fernando. Nice to meet you.
We just saved you a trip to the mall.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious about one of your characters, specifically from Rocko's Modern Life. Where did the Chameleon Brothers get created from?
That was a Joe Murray invention, and I remember we were working on voices together, and I think Joe and I and then Tom just sort of came onto the concept, but he wanted some kind of Euro. Oh, we're better than you because
Rocko was, pretty much just about O-Town.
So he wanted some international flair, and I remember that episode where the Emperor's New Coffee or something. The Emperor's wearing no clothes, where they made coffee and did this and welcome to the health club, and you're not good enough. And that was way before I bumped you
I know
up.
that's the thing. Like when I saw Hans and Franz on SNL, I was like,
"That's Leon."
Yeah, I was like, "Wait a minute, I know Dana Carvey knows us.
Yeah,
and he's seen us."
Call him up.
Exactly.
So it was just kind of a European influenced characters that Joe wanted, and I sort of came up with it. Oh, hey, what's going on there?
I really
Rocko.
like the voice. It's really nice. It's a
Thank
good one.
you.
Yes.
Figaro.
I love those guys. Don't get me started.
Oh, it's good.
Thank you. Oh, can I ask one more question?
Sure.
Did you
Go
guys
ahead,
get
hog
any
it.
crap from the Dr. Bendova reference? Who? Dr. Bendova.
I don't remember that voice.
No?
What was it?
If I'm not mistaken, it might have been you or Carlos, and it was
Were you
like
Dr.
he went-
Bendover? I don't remember.
Rocko
And others-
went
a
to
name you
doctor.
could never use on
Rocko
Nickelodeon
went to a
24.
doctor. It was the one with the phlegm. The one where he talks to his vomit, and then he goes to the doctor. That's where he gets the suppository that he swallows.
Wow.
I am going to have to go to YouTube on this
Yeah,
one.
we're going to go review this after the show.
Yeah. I'll get back to you on that.
Cool.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
That was 8,000 voices ago.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello. First off,
hi.
Rocko's Modern Life has always been a part of my childhood, but as soon as I found out about Camp Laszlo, is another work by Joe Murray. I almost went into tears.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I
So-
was Laszlo and Clem, and this is Lupus.
There was Lupus, and I was also Slink.
And knowing that they brought back returning voice actors from Rocko, it makes it more enjoyable, especially when both you and Tom and Carlos has done multiple roles on both shows.
Yeah, it's really sweet to come back.
And he gave us our start, so it was nice to be working with him again. My only regret is that show didn't last a little longer on Cartoon Network.
So good. Should've.
But yeah, it was great to be working with Joe again, and he's such a creative guy, and I love. Joe's just a great artist. Like his pen and ink drawings are just so good, like just to look at, and even animation aside. And he wrote a really useful book, probably one of the best books on getting started in animation and selling your show. What's the title of it?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
Go
but
to
if you look up-
joemurraystudios.com and you can look it up.
Yeah, it's called like Getting in the Game or something like that. And anybody that is looking to put a show together, put together a pitch, sell an animation show, it is the only book that really, tells you how to do it, cradle to grave. It's great.
Well, thank you.
Also, as much as I enjoy Carlos voicing Laszlo and Clem, it will be an honor to hear from Tom to do Scoutmaster, Lampus, and Slinkman.
What? Pardon me? You want me to do Slinkman?
No, I'm.
Lumpers, sure. Sitting here in Miami, there's too much humidity.
Oh, here, sir. Let me fan you.
There you go. Thank you. Thank you. Hello.
Hello. Hi.
Hey, man. Some whiz biz.
Yeah. I'm Goofy
I love
Goober,
it.
the Goofy Goober Wizard from the movie.
So wait.
Yeah. So, hi. Actually, as an aside, I have that book from Joe Murray. I'm an
What's
animation
that?
major.
What's the title?
I don't remember.
Oh,
But it's a good book.
Note to
I-
Joe: choose a catchier title.
The book is called I Don't Remember.
I recommend the book as well. So my question is more for Tom Kenny. I guess just before I say this, you guys really 90s Nicktoons in particular really influenced me. I'm an animation major at FAU, and I'm going into animation because of you guys. So thank you so much.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you.
But my question is for Tom Kenny. What was it like transitioning with Steven Hillenburg from Rocko to SpongeBob?
Steven's a really smart guy, and like I said, Rocko is one of those shows where it was like a lot of people's first gig, including Steve. He had never really done animation with a story. Like his animation was all like conceptual, like psychedelic almost kind of stuff with no stories, just visual animation. And I think he's a smart guy, and he kept his eyes and ears open a lot and really watched what Joe was doing. Gave it his own approach, said, okay, I think maybe I should do that differently. I can do that the same. But, and so really, it was a couple of years before he pitched SpongeBob after Rocko. And another thing, and in terms of staying in the game, after Rocko, I didn't book another voiceover for a long time. I thought my voiceover career was over. I just kept on auditioning for stuff and wasn't getting anything. And I go, wow. I guess that was it. That was really fun. But, I guess I'll go back to stand-up or whatever, which I don't really want to do. And, then when Steve had me, this was before he pitched it to Nickelodeon, and had me come over to his house and just show me a picture and said, this is the guy, this is his personality, what do you think? Steve was living in a small, cramped apartment at the time. He no longer does. He really was smart about learning the Joe Murray lessons and then bringing his own, plussing it, his own way.
But that is an important insight that Tom talked about after Rocko, not thinking he would get another job and having to audition. That's part of, if you're passionate about being an animator or a voice actor, the part of it is sticking to it and being persistent, because there are going to be times up and down where you don't get work, but if you're passionate about it, you stick to it, and look what can happen. Look what can happen. This guy is directing like crazy. He's still doing voiceover after so many years. We're still going, so that's a great story.
I want to add to this too. I really believe a great career and a great life looks like a bad EKG.
Yeah.
So as high as it gets is as low as it gets, and if you can ride the trough, then there's something else. It's hard when you're in it, but when you love something that much,
But if
cold.
you pitch something and somebody says no to it, keep on. You know what I mean? Just stay doing it. 'Cause
It took
it's
15
easy for
years.
people to say no to you.
It took 15 years for Swampy and Povermeyer to sell Phineas and Ferb. 15
Yeah.
years.
They
of
pitched it for
no's.
15 years.
Yeah. But
Well, thank you.
Thank
you
you.
very much.
You bet.
Don't worry, it's his twin. It's not the same guy. Hello.
I'm picturing her sitting in front of me at the movies with that hat on and me being really mad. Could you take that off, please?
Well, to rebuttal from my brother's last question, so watching both Rocko's Modern Life and Captain Lazlo really brings out the best in me. And in my fan life dream is, what if both worlds collide? Say, one scene, Scoutmaster Lumpus and Slinkman had a freak accident at camp, and they had to put veteran Bean Scouts in charge, saying Rocko, Heffer, and Filbert. And on another scene, what if the Bean Scouts were going door to door selling goods for fundraising and they're in Old Town, and the next sale was in the Bighead household and kept pestering Ed like in their Halloween episode.
Okay, we could do
Wow.
Laszlo, and you can
He just pitched us 27 seasons of a show.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I think it would be like Rocko going, hello, Mr. Slinkman. I know my voice sounds familiar, but my cousin Laszlo had to go to O-Town for a second, and we're supposed to take over camp.
Yes.
What do you want us to do for chores?
I'm Scoutmaster Lumpus, and I'm just realizing that I stole everything from Charlie's Bighead voice.
Yeah, speaking of that, Mr. Bighead,
You can have it, baby.
Meet your cousin. Meet your cousin, Mr. Lumpus. Mr. Bighead? Uh-oh. He's
This
taking...
is too complex.
I know, it's too complex.
I can't keep it all.
Your mind is too brilliant, but I hope we came close. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We're
We got
gonna
about
get some
10 more
writers on
minutes.
that.
My question is, how much influence did you have over the characters you played? Like,
Security.
Yeah.
Security.
It's no need. We can all get along.
I would say, like, in terms of, like, we all audition for stuff all the time. Like, and it's funny, like, you run into people and they go, wow, you still audition for stuff? And it's like, every day.
Every day we start over.
We're carny folk, you know what I mean? Like, it's a rare actor that doesn't have to audition. Like, the biggest Hollywood stars in the world have to audition for the big movies they do, except for maybe 2 or 3 of them. Yep. But, once you get that, once you get those sides and you have the picture of the character and the description of his personality, then it's kind of in your hands to try and craft an audition and read the tea leaves that they've given you and try to give them an audition that sticks out for them from the, 10, 11, 12, 30, super talented people that are also auditioning. So I guess to answer your question, up to a certain point, you have a pretty lot of leeway in terms of what voice you throw out there to them. And then whether they want to catch that voice and put it in the show is kind of up to them,
I want to add to this. This is an acting job. This is not about a voice. This is about creating character and creating the truth of the character.
True.
And if something amuses you, it will amuse me. If you're clear about something, it'll be clear to me. This is not a thought process. This is a feeling process. And so for me, when something is in front of me, I don't really think about anything. I don't know if you guys are the same place. I don't think it. I don't read it and go, oh, it's this, 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 this. You got to feel your way through it. And then if it gels with the buyers, it gels, and if it doesn't, oh well. But it gets everything. And, we're not running for office when we audition. It's a very subjective thing. So just because you don't get something, one person only can get it. So for the one person who gets it, there are 100 broken hearts. But it doesn't mean that those 99 other people didn't bring something remarkable, unique, and clear to them.
Yeah.
When I first saw Rocko, it was in George Maestri's house in Nick Jennings, Sutro Tower, San Francisco. I had no agent, never been in an animation like Tom coming out of stand-up comedy. They showed me this character with a long snout, big eyes, and hunched over. And one of the things during the series that Tom and he would go, ooh, to get in Heffer, and I'd go, oh my, physically. But I just thought they didn't want an Australian accent. We don't want an Australian accent. We don't. And all of a sudden we picked up like a vacuum manual, and I started to read,
when you are hooking the vacuum up to the circuit, make sure that hose B is connected to hose C.
And something
The suckomatic.
The suckomatic. Something clicked, and that's what they like. But it was feeling. I just felt it. I didn't think about it. I just thought, this guy's going to talk like this. I don't care what you want. And sometimes that works, and it did.
Well, I would say that, like, contrary to what a lot of people think, like when we're doing what we do in a studio, we're not guys that are reading, you know, we're not doing voices like Charlie said, like I mean, you really, you know, it sounds weird to talk about cartoons this seriously, you know, like it almost sounds psychotic, but like when you're in the room and Patrick's there and Plankton is there and Squidward is there, you really are just being those characters, silly as it is, and you're not, and you're like Tom, you know, Tom and Bill and Carlos and Charlie, like they're not even really in the room, you know what I mean? You're not like a guy who's reading a story out loud to somebody. You're just kind of trying to become these characters and vocally.
It's acting.
It's acting.
It's acting. And the term, actually, the phrase voice actor drives me crazy because we don't just act with our voices, we're acting.
Yeah.
So it is a really full throttle commitment to an idea and a feeling.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Thanks,
for-
Okay, real quick, I want to make an announcement. We got 5 minutes left. Before we leave, we are, as soon as we're done here, we're going to immediately go back to our tables. 234, 238, and 236, right by Uhuru and Chekhov, right there in the middle of the floor.
Which
so
for me
we
is
won't
huge,
be taking
by the
pictures
way.
here. We won't be doing anything here. We're going to head straight back to our booths, and please visit us there. So we have 5 minutes left, so let's make this speed questions and speed answers. Go ahead.
I think Ulia's got the memo.
Go.
Yeah, hi, my name is Yulia. I've already met Tom Kenny before. Hello again.
And I remembered your name. That's pretty good, right?
Yes,
Come
thank
on.
you. So I always loved Rocko's Modern Life as a kid, but I appreciated more as I grew older because I understood some of the adult jokes that completely flew over my head as a kid, and some of the jokes I just could not believe made it on TV. So I just want to know, what are some of the most adult jokes that you managed to? Sorry. Just what are some of the adult jokes that you managed to get past the censors, and which ones that Nickelodeon just looked at and said no?
Stare into my nipples of the future.
Yes, really,
For sure.
really big man.
And I was a
Stare
genie
into-
that was like really Paul in. I'm the genie in the bottle.
Yeah.
Very sachet.
There's a lot of that stuff, but I think, you know, like what you're saying, like this happened with a lot of cartoons that we grew up with too, is that, you know, when I watch them now, like Rocky and Bullwinkle or Looney Tunes or something, they hit on levels that I go, wow, there's no way I could have understood this when I was 9 years old. You know, I kind of maybe inferred it, but I think Rocko is really a show, again, sounding psycho because you're talking so serious about a cartoon, but I think Rocko is a show about a character that's trying to like push back against like conformity and branding and like the crushingness of like suburban, you know what I mean? Like, like you know what I mean? Like when you're driving around America and you go Olive Garden, Home Depot, McDonald's, I'm gonna blow my brains out, you know what I mean? It's like, I think Rocko was really like pushing back against the blandization of everything. And I think Joe Murray really felt that too. Like, man, there's no eccentricity in like where's all the weird going? You know,
We're here.
It's getting crushed. You know,
But thank
and
you.
now all the weirdness is here at these cons.
Speed round, and don't worry if you don't get to us. Come to our booth and we'll answer your question. Let's try to move a couple along. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Julia.
Hi, my name's Albert. I'm sorry to be the one to draw it away from cartoons, and I'm sorry to Charlie. I want to ask about the writing process for Mr. Show and for Reno 911. You both worked with Mr. Show, one of the best sketch shows in the 90s, and you worked with state alums, so I know Bob Odenkirk is famously intense when he likes an idea.
Yeah, real quick for me, the writing process for Ben and Tom and Carrie is that they would write out the seasons and the themes. They would allow each of the 8 characters to pitch ideas, and then we would get a scene, an A, B, and C in the scene. Good cop, black cop. Jones and Garcia get in an argument. Their perp escapes. Go. And that's how it was
So
written.
you would just have a blueprint, and then you guys, it was like Christopher Guest kind of style. Mr. Show, I was never officially a writer, but a lot of the stuff that my wife Jill Talley and I brought to Mr. Show was characters that we had already done. You know what I mean? Like the televangelists that are like Christian televangelists, but they're satanic. You know, you got to let the dark prince into your life, and you have to open the door. It is like the 700 Club for Satanists. You know, like that was something that we brought to the party, and they, that's great. You know, Odenkirk would run off, and they'd write it up. Sometimes they would, you know, cast themselves. But,
sometimes.
It was. You know, they were really open about letting people bring stuff to the table, which I'm really grateful for.
Cool. One last question, and then we'll be at our booths, 234, 236, 238, I believe, by Uhuru and Chekhov. Last question. We're going to jet out the door and go back to our booths, but please come up and talk to us.
Carlos, it's Uhura.
Uhura, sorry.
Okay.
Hi, guys. My name's Gabby, and
Hi,
I
Gabby.
just wanted to say real quick, I love all of you guys.
Thank you.
Big part of my childhood. Real quick, when you guys started this, were you sure that you were going to do this for the majority of your life?
Charlie? What was the question? When you started it, were you sure you were going to do this for the rest of your life?
I'm not sure when I wake up I'm going to do it for the rest of my life. I don't, you know what? No, I never think in those terms. I only think in terms of, am I possible today? If I get through a day, yes. I don't go that far down the road. I always wanted to act. I've acted since I was 15, which is about 112 years. So for me, just to stay functioning and relevant, like I said before, I never think in terms of that, because life does change.
Yeah. For me, I want to keep doing it.
Oh, yes, and I want to keep doing it, too.
Oh, yeah.
Was that the question?
But
Do I wanna
for
do
me,
it?
like...
Oh, yeah, I do.
Everybody's got a different path, and some people fell into voice acting and they were doing other stuff. And then for me, voice acting was the thing I wanted to do as a kid, the way that some kids want to be like an astronaut or a fireman or something. And then, you know, stand up, writing, any other stuff that I did before I was able to crack the glass ceiling of voiceover, like I saw that as all kind of being a path to this thing that I really wanted to do, even though it was much easier for me to make a living as a stand-up comedian and break into it. And same, even with writing, I had a way easier time breaking into writing professionally than I did getting into voiceover. So once I got into voiceover, I was like, if I can do this till I'm an old dead guy, I will be so happy.
Well, thank you very much. One more
Thank you
time,
so much,
Rockers
you
Modern
guys.
Life Reunion.
Thank
One more
you.
time for Charlie Adler, Tom Kenny,
Thank
myself,
you.
Carlos Alazraqui. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Joe Murray. We'll see you at our
Thank
table.
you, guys.